Hello, greetings from Izmir, Turkey. Welcome to our presentation from the program. As you may know, my name is Bahar Kiziltunali, and my friend, my colleague Pamela MacArthur. We try to work on this teaching phase and motivation relation. And actually, I should say that I'm a bit excited at the moment because this is the first time that I am just presenting something without having the audience, I should say. A couple of years ago, I had a similar experience with British Council Brazil, but at least at that time, it was possible to see the audience. But now I'm on my own, and I will try to follow the slides and so on. But it's a good experience, I believe. I'm sure that I'll enjoy it, and hopefully, I do hope that you will enjoy as well. Again, thank you for coming. As you can understand from the title and the abstract, we will be focusing together with a friend the teaching phase and the motivation relationship. We all know that now teaching is a lifelong profession. Once involved in teaching, it is very unusual to change professions. Teaching English as a foreign language was in the past different in that for some it provided a kind of opportunity to travel for a short time, visit many countries along the way, and experience different cultures before settling down to one's actual profession. However, as we all know, times are changing. Nowadays, many people enter the TEFL world as a chosen career and tend to stay in one location longer than they used to. Instead of a kind of a short-term gain, they're now looking for longer-term career objectives, such as management positions, teacher training positions, etc. Furthermore, for speakers of English as a second language, teaching English in their home country, especially in the field of tertiary education, often offers long-term stability in employment, concurring with a level of academic status not offered by other teaching positions. And as a result of the factors I have mentioned above, the tenure of English language teachers is lengthening on average, and we now see many teachers with over 20 years experience in this field. So with this introduction, I should say that now this paper specifically is we aimed to investigate whether such a situation is actually advantageous for students and teachers, especially for teachers, and thus in the long run to the students. And especially this research actually looked at whether working for one institution for many years can actually have a sort of, what should I say, negative effect on the level of teaching offered. So here, as you can see, the study sets out, in other words, to investigate whether increasing length of service with one institution leads to complacency or fosters an increased sense of loyalty to the institution, thus increasing the motivation levels of the teaching staff. When we say the teaching staff, I should pinpoint something very important. Teaching staff's motivation, of course, will have if it's a positive one, of course, will have a positive effect on students' learning. That's why we thought it's a very important factor. So in order to investigate the above, a questionnaire was designed, and a group of 30 teachers were selected, both genders, variety of age groups, and also a range of teaching experience, both inside and outside the school, actually, but mostly focusing on people working in the same institution for a long time. And after the completion of the questionnaire, the results were analyzed, and you will see the results in a minute. And then we conducted face-to-face interviews with a sample of the participants. Again, different nationalities were involved in these interviews. By the way, I should say that, of course, having 30 teachers in such a research may be not an example, but at that time it was only possible to ask teachers only 30 teachers actually, to be honest, accepted that because the heavy workload they have to carry on. As you can see, the age of participants ranging from 20, 30 up to 50 to 60, and you see the numbers there and the analysis. And then 10 males and 20 females, adding up to 30. And years of teaching experience started from 5 up to 30 years. As you can see, we have 4 instructors been working for 30 years, and again another 4 year 12. Years teaching at current institution from 2 to 12. And we had 12 native speakers of the language and English as their second language, 18 instructors we had. And from working on the questionnaire, we spotted that frequency, as you can see, highly demotivated, slightly demotivated, sufficiently motivated, and highly motivated. Again, adding up to 30. Now, actually, to be honest, we were quite happy finding out that most of the instructors that we asked believe themselves to a high level of motivation, with over 85% of those asked saying that they were sufficiently motivated or highly motivated. It's quite high percentage, I believe. And all of those asked believed their level of motivation had positive effect on their performance in the classroom, which was not surprising, of course. I mean, when you have that sort of motivation and you are very positive towards your profession, the end result is, of course, very good. When it comes to face-to-face interviews, all of those asked believe that, again, the same result had a positive effect on their performance in the classroom. And on top of that, experience fine, but with the length of service and management support, and of course with tertiary level, especially with the opportunities for personal development, all had a kind of positive effect on their motivation. And student behavior, as another factor, had a very positive effect if the students responded positively, but if the students were not motivated enough, or if they had sort of classroom management problems, of course that had a very sort of negative effect on their motivation. And overall, we concluded that the longer serving teachers perceived that their motivation was not reduced despite the years they had been teaching, and they believed that their experience was sufficient to render them efficient, motivated teachers. This face-to-face interviews, just want to share one thing with you. One of them, a native speaker with 11 years experience, seems to suggest that she had experienced a decrease in her level of motivation, but then went on to explain that with the experience she had become more confident. She was still very keen to provide interesting and productive lessons for the students, and actually felt that her classroom management rapport with the students was at a high level. So when we look at that, actually having that, being enthusiastic, ready to produce interesting and productive lessons and so on, and being more confident, actually may end up or add up to the motivation level. On the other hand, the new teacher, while highly motivated, felt that he still had a lot to learn and was very keen to take on board all opportunities offered by the school. So in the first example with the native speaker, quite long, 11 years, a good time, and bits and pieces, saying that sort of decrease in the motivation, but still eager to come up with interesting ideas, productive lessons. But on the other hand, new teacher saying that really highly motivated, ready to do anything, but still kind of, maybe we can say, bit lost. So it should be a good, for me and my colleague Pam, we think that our comment is, it is something that experience and motivation in a way goes hand to hand, and experience again brings sort of, how can I word it, sort of enlightenment maybe in the profession. So people start feeling kind of secure, confident, and thus in the long run have a much better result when it comes to the quality of teaching. So what can be seen from the research carried out so far is that the majority of teachers believe themselves to be motivated when it comes to teaching. This does not appear to differ greatly with length of service, and working for the same institution doesn't seem to adversely affect their motivation. And we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you for joining, and if you have further questions related to the issue or anything else, we will be very happy to answer. You can find our emails below. Once again, it was a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much.